gonna try this chatty video about just sort of like a July recap for me. Things that I bought, things that I got rid of. So style related things, fantastical beauty, system related things, but then also just like life stuff. Why I like these kind of, I like watching these kinds of videos, and I like how personal it feels, and that you get a sort of sense of somebody by like hearing what was on their mind that month. It's you never know what you're gonna get. I kind of like that buffet style video. If you do, I'll keep making them. If you don't, apologies. I don't need to in the future. We'll see how it goes for a month or two. This is new to me, and I'm not really much of an on-camera person, but I'll get better if I do it more. So here I am doing it more. July recap, right? It's already into August. We're in the second week of August. I had other videos that were much more important to be working on, so I did those instead of doing this one at the beginning of the month. For July, it feels like a long time ago now, I added 3 things to my wardrobe in July. First one I'm really excited to show. I'm really excited to have it too. And that is this secondhand Jill Sander cashmere jacket. Are we calling it a blazer? We're just calling it a jacket? I don't know. It looks, to me, the cashmere makes it casual. That, and it's like a little bit of a boxier cut. But it has this higher neckline, which you'll see in like half of my videos because I'm gonna wear it all the time now. But it can also fold down, which I don't like that, wearing it that way as much, but it can have this little collar here. And it's the perfect shade of pink, this coral pink, shell pink. And I watched the website, I watched this jacket for, I think, like 6 months. You know, it's the kind of thing that you like, and you're like, yeah, okay, if the price comes down a lot, then maybe. And it did. I hadn't checked in, 2 months or something, and I did a little browsing because I hadn't yet spent my budget for the month, and there it was, and it was a good price, and I went for it, and it is just how I imagined in person. It's every bit as good. I actually think it might be a little bit better because the pockets were basted shut still. I don't think anyone was wearing this, and it's so beautiful. Very satisfied. 3 pockets I had to open. They're lovely. I love a pocket. I love this jacket. I'm gonna wear it, like I think it might count as my coat again in the 10 AYR project for myself. I still have some sweaters that I'll be wearing when the weather cools down, but I'm wondering if this might be my around the house and out in the world, put it on over every outfit jacket. Maybe, maybe not. I kind of want a super long, like floor length cardigan that's maybe cashmere. It has to be lightweight if it's gonna be that long. I think that if I'm gonna have just one that has to do it all, one warming layer on the outer layer before you get to coats, that it would need to be floor length because of the way I like my lines to be and the way I like an unexpected color to be. So if I was wearing head to toe royal blue and then I have this jacket on, it's going to create a horizontal around hip length that's a different color, and I don't like that. I don't like that for myself. I'm not sure if it's probably a type thing. I'd have to think more about it. But I definitely don't like it for myself. If it's gonna be that hip length, I would want this to also be royal blue. So if I'm just gonna have one that does it all, I need it to be the full line all the way to the floor. So that is my big addition for July. Also on sale were Old Navy sweat shorts, so I bought 2 more of those, giving me a total of 3 pairs of sweat shorts with matching-ish t-shirts, tonal. I'll show you what I mean. So this is the color of the sweat shorts, which are like pajamas for me, but I might wear them in the backyard too. And then this is the t-shirt, which I already had, because I mentioned that I have t-shirts that I thought I might wear with the rainbow jeans, or that I bought because it was such a beautiful color and I was hoping to find jeans or trousers in the same color, and then just haven't yet. I think this neckline might be a little too choky for me, but I am going to try this for pajama type loungewear times. And then I also got a light purple that I will wear with the lavender t-shirt. And that's all I added. Did I want to add more? Not really. I actually feel really satisfied with my wardrobe. I would like to add a lilac blazer, like a nice bright, I was gonna see if I had an example to show you. I don't, but a nice bright lilac in a good fabric. Like a nice, how many times can I say nice? Like a nice woven wool, nice lilac blazer. That would be high on my list, but that's one of those things that it might be a couple years before I see something that checks all the boxes. Out of my wardrobe for the month, there was a video about the garage stored items, which that is what is out. It's like not stuff that was actively in my wardrobe. It was just stuff that was lingering for reasons. And now is not. I did decide, I had this stack of wool things that I didn't want to decide on until the weather cooled off. But you know, we had 2 days where it was barely 70 degrees, and I tried things on then, and I filmed myself trying them on so I could see, in addition to just feeling how it felt. And everything in that pile is now out. That was, there were reasons that it was in the holding zone and not with the other wool or the few out of season things I have that like would never leave my closet, like my new pink-ish coral jacket. I would never put that in the holding zone. That, you know, even in the hottest months, it's gonna be upstairs in my closet where it's safe and I can see it and I can enjoy it every time I open the closet. So those stack of wool things are now gone. There were some navy ones, that was the reason. A lot of crew necks, which aren't going to work as base layers unless I want to see that layering color, like you have 2 crew necks but one is peeking out, which I think can look cool. I don't typically find that I think it looks cool on me, but I have admired it on some of Orly's runway looks, for example. So that's what's out. I have not yet listed the things for sale that I am going to. I went through that box again as well, and when I'm done with this video, I'm going to bring it inside where it will bother me to see it, and either I will donate it or I will list the few things, and it will go. The little rainbow scarf shawlette my daughter saw, she's 6 and she is obsessed with rainbows, and so she might be the one taking that. I can't really imagine a 6-year-old wearing a shawl, but you know, I might give her a shot at that. Because if she does love it and she would use it, even if she's using it for baby dolls and stuff, then I would still enjoy that more than it being in a pile somewhere. I don't want piles. So that's what's out. And here is a look at my Stylebook calendar view for the month. This is one of, I believe, 2 months of the entire year that I was not sick. We did not have a cold go through the house, or flu, or COVID, or mystery virus. which my sweet babies bring to me monthly. But you can see, because I did not wear sweatpants for a whole week, I was not in misery at all. It was a good month. July was a good month. I wore a rainbow order mostly throughout the month, intentionally. I just thought that'd be fun to cycle through the rainbow multiple times. So I did it. One of the weeks I did it starting with coral instead of red. Those red trousers are not holding up well and need to be replaced. I can't find a cherry red pair of jeans. I would like to. Not in that barrel shape that I don't like to wear and that is everywhere. Still, like a slightly wide leg, straight to wide leg pair of jeans is what I want. And cannot find, of course. But I don't know that I'll be able to wear the red ones, the red trousers, much longer. They are pilling, and it's like, I can't tell if it's like lint or something. It's not coming out in the wash, and it looks pretty bad. I have a couple things I'll try laundry wise, but those are not gonna work long term. Let's see. I got to wear my what I call my Galagorn. That's Galadriel and Aragorn dress, my medieval fantasy dress, for a very, very fun day of eating and drinking and painting with my two closest friends, who also wore fabulous green gowns. What else? No, that's pretty much it for the month. It was a successful month of wearing clothes and not being sick. You will not see that if we keep doing these monthly recap videos. We will get into the school season and it will be a lot of the same pair of sweatpants in a row as I suffer. So it's so nice to have a rainbow month. Let's see, what is next in my list? Things I created in the month of July. 5 paintings, 3 large vase paintings, 2 small ones at that hangout with my friends where we ate like hobbits. It was wonderful. Show you the paintings. Probably really loud. One of the paintings, this was super fun. I was interested in painting with neons because so many of the contemporary artists that I like the most use neon, especially neon pink, which is why I started with that. But it's so bright in person. In a photograph, it's just beautiful. In person, it burns your eyeballs. My daughter would come into the room where I had done like a 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch swatch of this neon pink, and she'd say, "Mom, please, please, Mama, please turn it over. It's hurting my eyes." And I'm like, yes, me too. I totally get it. So we painted each of our boards neon pink, the whole thing, and then painted over it separate things. And I chose this planter until we were satisfied with the amount of pink. And then I added a little bit more on top, and now I love it. If I focus on the neon pink, it still burns my eyes, but I actually like the overall effect and would absolutely do it again. And that's probably how the neon pink will be used in the future. Okay, the other small painting, the 3 of us did this same picture, which is what we usually do when we paint together. We choose a picture and we all paint the same reference photo, and the small changes, the small decisions that we each make show through, and I really, really delight in seeing the same thing but slightly different. Not just with painting, but with fashion too. I love seeing the same outfit but styled different ways for different people. Seeing the same thing over and over again with small variations is really exciting to my eyes for some reason. So I had a great time with our forest painting. This is my favorite. The details are better up close with this one, that matters more than the others. My favorite paintings are typically abstracted flowers, and I'm not really abstracting. But I do like what I've painted this month, and I love the process of painting. So I'm feeling satisfied, even though, like, as far as like busyness, or the movement for the eyes and the color work and everything, the first painting is my favorite. These two, I feel like I want something else going on. But I can't figure out what. The papaya vase itself is busy, so I thought that adding the detail to the flower might, and I feel like it's, like whenever I try to think what would I add, or, I mean, I'm thinking more in terms of like texturing the big blocks of solid flat color, but I don't know, I'm not sure. I feel like I might add on to them at some point, but I'm mostly satisfied. What else did I create? I created the quizzes on the Style website. I hadn't done coding in a long time, and I used ChatGPT to help me, and they're working. There's room for improvement one day, but they're working for now, and I think that people have been enjoying them, so I feel like that was a successful use of a few days of time, which is very limited lately. I think the only other thing I have to show you that I've been creating is this shawl with beads. It's my first time knitting with beads. And I am intending it to go with my Galagorn dress. That's why it's gray. I'm a little nervous of it being gray. I don't have a good track record of being satisfied wearing gray. It's, you know, I like color, but there were only two. The Galagorn dress is not on palette for me. I think that's the crux of the problem. And so I needed to choose something that was on palette that would go with the Galagorn dress. And the only contenders were light gray and what amounts to a hint of sage, a barely there sage. It's still a neutral, which I would have preferred, but I couldn't find it in the weight and content of the yarn that I wanted. Anyway, it's turning out lovely. The beads don't photograph well. They're really like sparkly and eye-catching in person on the background of this plain gray. They catch the light beautifully, but it doesn't seem to show up on camera that way. I'm hoping to be done with that in August so I can start knitting a rainbow heart mosaic blanket in cotton for my daughter for Christmas. And that is what I created in July. I did have a go at the 10 AYR guide, and I'm having another go. Like, I'm never not having a go. I mean, I put it aside sometimes and then come back to it, but I'm trying. Coming up with the template and going through the first one is hard. It's hard to establish what I'm going to be doing for over 60 more times. And I think the wall that I keep coming to with it is just that it's a lot of work. To do it, I need 10 illustrations. I have my new fashion template, she's great, but I need 10 full outfits, and then I want to show them colored in a full color version, and I also want to show them in just black and white so that you could color onto it yourself or imagine your own coloring choices in it. Because if I choose spring coloring as an example and you have winter coloring, it's like not, you know, it's not gonna be right for you. And I don't know about showing like a bunch of different color versions, but I want to show at least one in color version, and then I want to have at least the black and white versions so that you can choose your own colors, hopefully using the Subtype guide to inform the color choices with the palette, but also the color pairings. And then like if I'm doing full color outfit illustrations, then it seems like she needs to be in color too and have like facial features and hair, and if I'm going to be doing the hair and the makeup and everything, then it should be representative of the subtype that the 10 outfits are for, and it just like gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't want it to be this massive expensive thing that like, does anybody want to buy a bunch of those? Do you like, it's gonna be like, I don't want it to take over and be too big of a thing as a unit, but also as an ongoing project for me, who has to make like more than 60 of them, right? But I want it to be a good example of 10 all year round outfits for a variety of life circumstances. Yeah, and it just keeps amounting to a lot of illustrative work, which I like, but I don't want it to be too big. I'm not quite sure. I don't see a way to rein it in. I don't want to just list the outfits. I think people have a hard time with that. I think we need to see. I think reading an outfit, even if it's well described, like that's great, but you need to see it in an illustration that's annotated. See it and read it. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. It feels like it's growing into too big of a document. And I'm still not sure that I'm getting across the most important things, that I'm showing the example. When I first imagined it, it was going to be the 10 looks all on one page, like you can find in the 10 AYR general style guide. But if you're doing it for a subtype, you need a lot. I think you need a lot more details. Like, do I leave out the fashion template? Do I just do a floating shirt? That would get rid of some of my problems with how it grows to be more and more and more, more and more time, and more like, I could go into detail way too much for a thing. And I want to show, and I just desire to show exactly what I'm imagining. And so wanting to show every iteration, or at least provide notes about alternatives and for pieces, but also for the coloring and for the way things work together. It's like I want to do the depth of a one-on-one style consult, but in a guide. Like, that's the dream, that's the goal, but it doesn't, in practice, it doesn't work out. It's too much to try and go through. I think that the floating clothing idea is probably the right solution. Yeah, that's the way to rein myself in. It leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. But that's what the subtype guides already cover largely. They already show the beautiful hair and the, this and that and the other thing. They already show all of that. I think I need to just stick to floating clothing. No, I was really excited to use the new fashion template. I think I'm gonna have to spend a little more time exploring both of those directions, but the floating clothing would solve a few problems. It just doesn't, like, you want to see it on a person. Yeah, floating clothing. Okay, maybe I just solved this in talking to you all. So thank you for listening. All right, final section of my July recap. is what I consumed. I read 9 Discworld books before bed. That's how I've been getting to sleep each night. Spending half an hour to an hour, however long it takes to fall asleep. I fall asleep thinking about the silliest things because the Discworld books are very silly. I'd never read any before, and this year I'm just going to plow through all of them. They have been enjoyable. I recommend them if you want something silly before bed. They're perfect for that. The other thing that I wanted to share that I consumed in July is information about sunshine. I spent a ton of time in the car in July transporting my daughter to and from camps. That's 2 hours of chauffeuring each day during the camp weeks. I also had 2 allergy shots per week, all of July and now into all of August, as I had to start over at the beginning of this year because of insurance change. Anyway, the point is I spent a lot of time in the car, and I've been listening to NPR, and I caught this NPR interview with scientists studying sunshine and immune health. And after listening to it, I also read studies and the recent research, because I just had no idea. I knew that sunshine was preventative for myopia for children. Children getting enough outdoor time don't develop nearsightedness at nearly the same rate as if you do. Like, the numbers are crazy for how much outside time affects nearsightedness in children, or like then adulthood, right? How much it affects nearsightedness. So that had been really exciting to me to read a few years ago, but I never looked into the other effects of sunshine. And they are like mind-blowing. Like, I'm still thinking about this a week later. Sunshine is incredible for our health. There was a Scottish scientist who said that the paper he's about to put out, or just had some statistics work in it that amounts to, if you were going to save one person's life from melanoma, and like by prescribing that everybody avoid the sun, to avoid that one person getting melanoma, 50 other people would die from health problems that the sun would have prevented. Like, getting that outside time would have prevented, because it affects blood pressure and it affects just like the list of things that it affects. I had no idea. It's like every aspect of health. You got to get your sunshine, so long as you don't get a sunburn. Sunburns need to be prevented, but other than that, you got to get your sunshine. So I've been trying to do that ever since hearing that. And I'm a little bit less uptight about sunscreen. The beauty effects, like, that's a thing, but the health effects, it was enormous. It was like every health effect. And the Australian scientist, when they were talking about weighing risks, said that people who get skin cancer across the board are healthier in all the other ways than the people who don't get skin cancer, which is like, sunshine, who knew? It's like good for all the other health things. I think I'm, the Scottish man, because there's no sun there. There's no sun where I am in the Pacific Northwest either. And then the Australian woman who is right in the sunshine. It's kind of interesting, the people who get obsessed with it, maybe, or who find it especially noteworthy. It's like not people coming from moderately sunny places. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying your summer as much as I am. Hope you're getting some sunshine, and I will see you again next time.